Finally, we know who's going to be playing Arsenal in the final of the Champions League. It is going to be Bayern. No, it's going to be PSG. Ugh, Bayern Munich. It's going to be PSG who went to the Allianz Arena and they put on a pretty decent showing, to be honest. I think I was expecting not exactly what we got last week in terms of like the 9 goals, but after that early goal from Dembele, after a crazy, beautiful run from Kvaratskhelia, I was expecting a bit more action. But it looks like you guys who were saying, oh, you were expecting like another 90-minute highlights reel, weren't you? Well, we didn't get that today. We got some pretty decent, some sort of like pretty decent footballing principles were applied today. And we have to be honest, like they watched Arsenal and Atletico, and I think they went home and they were not, they didn't go home, they went to training and said, hey, what are we playing at? You know, I thought PSG were very clever. They knew they didn't have to do much. They got their early goal and they started defending very well most of the time. The shots that Olise was taking from outside the area, none on target. Very, very, he wasn't great in terms of getting them on target, but that's because all the channels were shut down efficiently by PSG. That's the problem with this Enrique guy. He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, tactically very aware. He might be playing in a pathetic league in the French league, but this guy is a real deal. You know what I mean? Very intelligent. He just knows what the buttons to press, and they knew what they had to do to make sure that Bayern Munich would waste the whole 90 minutes. It took them 88 to 89 minutes before we got a goal from Harry Kane. And well, actually, it was 90 something minutes, wasn't it? Yeah, it was in the 93rd minute. So by that time, it was way too late for Bayern to get back into the game. And they even started like, faking injuries. One thing I have to go on and I can't ignore is the officiating tonight once again was pretty diabolical. A handball is here, like the handball rule changes every week. I would rather, if to be fair, I would rather if we know that the ref has made a mistake. He made a mistake giving that handball for was it Alfonso Davis and Ben White? I'm happy tonight's um if tonight's handball was legally sort of like ignored, I would rather get a correct decision after two bad decisions instead of continuing the pathetic application of the handball rule. So we need to sort of like be more coherent. I thought the referee actually had a bit of a tough time. We even saw the Bayern Munich fans throw things on the pitch. Things were not going their way at the end of the day. They're at home, but it didn't feel like home advantage at some points in the game because some of the decisions, Arsenal got a few home decisions yesterday, which showed that you do get a home advantage. There's some decisions you get. The penalty Atletico got was a home advantage penalty. It shouldn't have been a penalty, but they got it because it was home advantage and stuff. So yeah, so basically that's just the way it goes sometimes. But in the end, I think as much as I wanted Bayern Munich to go through, and I thought they would go through after the crazy scoring last week, PSG were definitely the favorites, weren't they? No, actually, they were not. They were not tonight. I think Bayern Munich were favorites. They were like 1.4, and then PSG were like 4.5 in the odds. But it's going to be PSG versus Arsenal because Arsenal defaulted to be the away side. So it looks like we might be able to wear our red kit because PSG wear blue. So we'll definitely probably be wearing our red tops. I'm going to have to get a new one because mine's a bit tattered now, ready for the end of the month. In Budapest, I need a ticket. Guys, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody who's got a ticket to Budapest? You know what I mean? So anyway, it's going to be PSG versus Arsenal. This is the matchup we saw last season. We played them 3 times last season. We beat them the first leg. I mean, in the qualifiers. Then we went and met them in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and they hammered us. Basically, Hamadas, because we didn't have Thomas Partey in the first leg, Thomas Partey came on in the second leg and we had to play a different game plan where they beat us 3-1. Let me check head to head actually with PSG. So yeah, last season they beat us home. They beat us home and away. So they beat us 1-0 at home. Then we went to PSG and they beat us 2-1 in the quarterfinals of the semifinals of the Champions League. And yeah, it was very convincing in the end. The first leg wasn't too bad, but the second leg I felt really helpless. You know what I mean? You knew that they were too good for us. But this season, how do I think it's going to go? I think they're going to have a lot harder time to beat us this season. A lot harder. We have to absolutely be weary of Kvaratskhelia, who's going to be marking him on that right wing, because we've got Ben White, Mosquera. Jurriën Timber might probably won't be back yet, but do you want him to come back for that match? From what I've seen of Ben White, is coming back into form, and Ben White, as much as he hasn't had that crazy fitness yet, I trust him to manage. Him, Saka, Odegaard, that will stop Kvaratskhelia. He does that. He did that against the past opposition because they are not very good defensively, you know? And whoever is there, if it's Big Gabi or is it Saliba that side, yeah, I'm not worried, to be honest. We just need to do what we do usually. Keep it stable, keep it quiet for as long as possible, get a lucky goal. Probably 2-0 Arsenal in the end, in the final, in my opinion. But we will be able to do what we do. It is up to the players. If we can go into that match as champions of the Premier League, then I think we're going to win the Champions League. It depends on how we finish our league. If we win it, I think we'll win the Champions League. If we don't win it, I think it will be a lot harder psychologically, because right now the only thing missing in our arsenal is our psychology. And yesterday when we played Atletico, these boys just absorbed the atmosphere. It is essential, you guys who go to the stadium to watch the matches, to make sure that you maintain that excitement and the love for the players, because they need it right now the most. I'm happy we got, as long as we play Luis Skelly and Rice in midfield, I think we will cook. We'll be fine. But it's looking really positive. You have seen how they've played tonight. They're not exactly unbeatable. They've got some great individuals, actually. Very good, very strong. All of them no one looks like a slacker in that team. But we can do it. Calafiori, oh my goodness, it's getting exciting already. One thing I know, guys, is that we're going to talk more about the potential happenings in the match as we go along. But right now, I am going to be thinking about our next match on Sunday, which is West Ham away. It is essential that we win that match. Yeah. So that's me. Our Champions League semi-final roundup. Arsenal versus PSG is the final of the Champions League, and I could not be more scared. This is not this. I am not made for this. I am not made for this. I'm telling you. Hey, I am not made for this. So yeah. Think about me. Think about me as you are watching this and enjoying yourselves as non-Arsenal fans, because the pressure. Whew. Right, guys, thank you. Good night.